Hey, what's going on, guys? OJ back here with another video, and today we're going to be breaking down the pound for pound toughest chins in the UFC. All right, I'm going to have 15 fighters listed below and explain why I believe that they have the toughest chins in the UFC right now. All right, there are some fighters that you would expect on this list, and some fighters that I do believe have very underrated chins. All right, so in a couple of seconds, I'm going to have my list for you guys. So without wasting any more time, let's jump right into the video. Starting off with number 15, I got Kyle Barallo. Now, is this Fighting Nerds Glaze? Kind of. But I do believe that Kyle Barallo has a very tough chin. He has a sneaky good chin, in fact, all right? Most of Kyle Barallo fights are absolute scraps, all right? For example, the Jared Cannonier fight. Kyle Barallo was eating a lot of shots. And in the Nasruddin Imavov fight, it wasn't a scrap per se, but Barallo was eating a lot of punches that Imavov was throwing that I thought could have potentially KO'd a lot of middleweights on the roster. Now, the toughness of Caio Borralho was one of the main reasons why I thought he was going to beat Nasruddin Imavov in Paris. It's kind of true. Like, Borralho did eat all the shots. Unfortunately, he just got schooled on the feet. So there's that. So Caio Borralho, I think he has a sneaky underrated chin right now. Again, he's never been dropped, never been KO'd in the UFC. So I do believe that Caio Borralho, I don't know if he like fights continuously against like top level competition. He's gonna get into more dog fights because he's got a very good chin and he can push forward against most other guys. All right, now up next, I'm gonna go with Tim Elliott as my number 14 spot. All right, he's never been KO'd in the UFC, and it goes far back as like what 2017 ish, right? Maybe he got KO'd before then. I'm not really too sure, but the reason I say Tim Elliott's incredibly tough is because he came back from a 2-year layoff and just walked down a dangerous striker in Kaya Sakura. Like Tim Elliott literally ate a flush head kick that Kaya Sakura threw in the first round and used that head kick to take down Kaya Sakura. Right? The only reason I can't put him up higher is because first off, it's in flyweight, and second off, uh, Tim Elliott hasn't really fought dangerous strikers or KO artists outside of Kaya Sakura, and I don't really believe that Tim Elliott at this point is like the toughest dude there in the flyweight division. But he's got a very underrated chin, and you need some serious knockout power in order to drop Tim Elliott in at flyweight, in my opinion. All right, now up next, I'm gonna go with Bilal Muhammad. All right, he's been KO'd in the past by Jeff Neal, Vicente Luque, but those guys are known for like their knockout ability, so I'm not gonna hold it that much against him against Bilal. And as of recently, it feels nearly impossible to put away Bilal Muhammad, right? He took some crazy shots against JDM in their fight. I thought that JDM was going to be able to put him away, but hats off to Bilal for sticking through there because, again, JDM was throwing some absolute bombs at Bilal Muhammad. All right. Now I see some people saying that JDM has overrated power. I disagree. All right, because it wasn't just the power; it was the placement of the shots that JDM threw, as well as the accuracy. So I do believe that Bilal Muhammad, he's going to be able to go through a lot of wars. All right. Again, he pushes a hard pace. He kind of has his chin up in the air, which is kind of concerning, but at the same time, no one's really been able to put him away. So I do believe that Bilal Muhammad right now has a very tough chin. It's I do think he can get knocked out, like maybe like a Michael Morales or like Carlos Prates if he lands the perfect shot. But I kind of doubt that Carlos Prates or Michael Morales can land the perfect shot. I can see Bilal Muhammad just being able to walk them down in the later rounds. So Bilal Muhammad, hats off to him. He has a very tough chin. All right, now up next, I'm gonna go with Waldo Cortez Acosta. Now, real ones know that I despise Waldo Cortez Acosta for one reason or another, but what he showed me against Sergey Pavlovich was pretty impressive, at least with the toughness. All right, maybe it was because Pavlovich was hesitant, but I still think that most heavyweights get chinned. by that version of Sergey Pavlovich, all right? And also, Waldo Cortez Acosta has never been chinned in the UFC, all right? Maybe it's because he fights very tentatively. Maybe it's because he hasn't fought any like elite level power puncher outside of Sergey. But again, I do believe that that current version of Sergey still knocks out most heavyweights on the roster. So I gotta give props to Waldo Cortez Acosta's chin because it was a lot tougher than I thought it'd be. All right, now up next, I'm gonna go with Shavkat Rakhmonov. You know, this guy outdogged Jeff Neal in a dogfight, where Jeff Neal missed weight by 5 pounds. And keep in mind, this was a Jeff Neal who wasn't far from the Vicente Luque fight. All right, Jeff Neal absolutely destroyed the Iron Chin of Vicente Luque. It was incredibly sad, but Jeff Neal proved that he has the power to do so. And Shavkat Rakhmonov just ate those shots. All right. Now, the only reason I can't put Shavkat Rakhmonov up higher is because he's not been in the cage often, especially against like a dangerous knockout artist. He fought Ian Gary and Wonderboy Thompson. Like those guys are elite level strikers, but they're not known for like one punch knockout power. And he has not been able to test his chin out like that since. So Shavkat Rakhmonov, I don't know. It kind of depends on who he fights. Like if he fights like again, maybe like a Carlos Prates or a Michael Morales sometime in the future, and he starts eating those shots, I would put Shavkat Rakhmonov up higher. But for now, I'm gonna say that he's at like the 11th spot because even though he had a dogfight with Jeff Neal, I don't think he's really been able to showcase his tough chin since. All right, now moving on, we got Roman Dolidze at my number 10 spot, right? The guy has never been KO'd in the UFC. Nasruddin Imavov literally gassed himself out trying to finish Roman Dolidze in the first round of their fight, and that's why it turned into a mid-off from rounds 2 to 5. And outside of Imavov, however, I don't think he's fought a dangerous striker from what I recall. Like Phil Hawes, I guess you can say he's dangerous, but not really. And I don't believe that Roman Dolidze, like, if he fights someone like a Gregory Rodriguez down the line, I do think that he could get chinned. So there is that. And I don't think he's nearly put in like the durability test like Marvin Vittori has. So Roman Dolidze, I'm gonna put him at my number 10 spot for now. Who knows what's gonna happen later down on the line? But for now, I think he has a very solid chin, just not the elite level chins of the middleweight division. All right, now up next, we got Marlon Vera. All right, again, never been KO'd in the UFC. And before fighting Sean O'Malley, he's never been cut or dropped. All right. But after fighting Sean O'Malley, where Sean O'Malley kneed Cheeto Vera's skull, and I don't know, she just gave him permanent damage. He started to get dropped by Figgy. Now Figgy is a powerful puncher, so I'm not gonna deduct that many points from him. But at the same time, I do believe that Marlon Vera's durability is going down. I still think that he has a very tough chin, however. But again, it kind of clear. It's kind of clear right now that I don't think that Marlon Vera has the same durability he had a couple of years ago. Because of the fight with Sean O'Malley on top of Davis and Figueiredo. Who knows? I might be wrong. Maybe he comes out against like Ayman Zahabi and just like I don't know, tests his chin out fully, but I don't think Ayman Zahabi's that big of a power puncher or a dangerous striker. So there is that. But yeah, Marlon Vera, I still think he has the toughest chin in the bantamweight division. But as of right now, I do think that his durability is declining. All right, now up next we got Brian Ortega. Like this guy's impossible to put away. All right, he's never been KO'd in the UFC. He has waned in durability a lot though, after taking damage from Yair Rodriguez, Diego Lopez. Like even Aljamain Sterling was able to box him up a little bit and just kind of, damage Brian Ortega a bit. So I do kind of fear for Brian Ortega's durability right now, right? But there was a time where he had the toughest chin in the UFC, right? But after Diego Lopez practically knocked him out and then revived him from the dead, I don't think his durability is the same at featherweight. And if he is going to move at lightweight, who knows? Maybe his durability comes back a little bit. But at the same time, as of right now in the featherweight division, I do think that his durability is waning. All right, now up next we got Max Holloway. He's fought nearly every single dangerous striker at featherweight, and he survived for the most part. Right, he did get knocked out by Ilya Taporia though, but since moving up to lightweight, his chin looks solid. The only thing I'll say though is he's been getting dropped more recently, and fair enough, the guys at lightweight hit harder, but at the same time, I don't have nearly as much confidence as I did when Max Holloway was fighting at featherweight. Like featherweight Holloway, unless he fought Taporia, he just kind of walked down most punches. He never really got like severely dropped or anything like that. But at lightweight now, he has been getting dropped by Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier. So Max Holloway, he still has a very tough graded chin, but it's now clear that you can knock him out. And guys at lightweight, even though they won't have the skills of Ilia Topuria in terms of the boxing, I do think that a couple of guys at lightweight can potentially prove some problems for Max Holloway's chin. Right now, up next, we got Anthony Hernandez. Like, this dude literally embodies the Mexican Iron Chin. Never been knocked down in the UFC. And he has not fought a striker that has the precision and power to potentially knock him out cold. Right? I know he got body shotted by Kevin Holland, but that was a body shot. And even the body, like, Anthony Hernandez has yet to show any signs of weakness there. Actually, no, he did show weakness against Michel Pereira, but hey, he didn't get knocked out. So Anthony Hernandez, he still has a very tough chin. I do believe that there are ways to beat Hernandez. Like I do believe that Hamza can beat him, but at the same time, unless you have the wrestling of Hamza Chimaev, and if you're like a primary striker, it's probably gonna be a nightmare matchup for you. All right, now up next we got Dricus Duplessis, the pioneer of armor maxing, like which is basically just running at opponents with your eyes closed and throwing windmill punches. And it works because Dricus Duplessis, he's never been KO'd in the UFC. He's incredibly tough. I don't see any striker being able to put away Duplessis. All right, I understand that he got mauled by Hamza Chimaev, but that's because Hamza Chimaev just takes people down at will. All right, and he hasn't been wobbled and dropped a few times. I'll give you that, but he immediately recovers and starts throwing windmill punches with his eyes closed. So I think Dricus Duplessis, he has the plot armor chin, right? Similar to Yuri Prohaska, who we'll talk about soon. And I don't really think he's gonna get knocked out in the UFC. All right, up next we got Yuri Prohaska. Like this dude's chin is so tough, he literally doesn't even need his hands to block punches. This guy literally puts his hands out front so that opponents can tee off on his skull. And Yuri Prohaska, for the most part, still survives. Now I understand that he got knocked out by Alex Pereira, but that's Alex Pereira. And even after getting knocked out by Alex Pereira, he's still eating bombs from other light heavyweights like Alexander Rakic and Jamal Hill. Like the holy spirit of martial arts literally guides Yuri Prohaska to victory, and that's why I think even though he's been knocked out by Pereira twice, like I still believe that Yuri Prohaska has one of the toughest chins in the UFC. All right, now up next, I'm gonna go with Alexandre Pantoja. Again, never seen him get KO'd in the UFC. The only guy who's been able to drop him was Davison Figueiredo, I believe, and no one has been able to come close to dropping Pantoja since. Right? He is fighting at flyweight though, and most flyweights aren't known for their incredible knockout power, but at the same time, the amount of combinations these flyweights are throwing at Pantoja, and for the most part, Pantoja isn't even slowing down. That is very impressive. And there's a reason why he's a champion. Like, yes, he has incredible skills with the grappling and such, but at the same time, uh, a lot of the strikes that Pantoja's been eating, like, I don't think most guys can take it. So, Pantoja, very solid chin at flyweight. I don't think it's going to do well when he moves up to bantamweight potentially, but at flyweight, I don't see anyone knocking him out. All right, now up next, we got Diego Lopez. I consider Diego Lopez as a more in prime version of Brian Ortega because this dude's been eating some absolute bombs from killers, all right? Like John Silva would not drop him while he was throwing some absolute heaters. Like John Silva, I don't know how he didn't knock out Diego Lopez. Like he was teeing off on Lopez in the second round. And again, Lopez has never been KO'd or dropped in the UFC. I do think he was in trouble at times against Dan Ige, but that was Dan Ige without a weight cut. So there's that. And I think that Diego Lopez, he's the more in prime version of Brian Ortega. I think they're very similar, but in addition, Diego Lopez also has like improved defense and also just what do you call dangerous knockout potential, which is something Brian Ortega never really had. So I think that Diego Lopez right now has the best chin at featherweight. Plus, he hasn't been through that many wars compared to Brian Ortega. So I think right now Diego Lopez best chin in the UFC, or at least in the featherweight division specifically. All right, now up next we got Marvin Vettori. I think this is kind of a no-brainer. Like this guy gets whooped up every single fight, and it still has never been put away. And I don't think anyone can KO this guy at middleweight, all right? Maybe Gregory Rodriguez or Joe Pyfer, but I don't know. If he survives like the first round, like which is a very big possibility because it's Marvin Vittori, like I don't see those guys putting him away in the second and third round. And even though do believe that Marvin Vittori's durability has declined, no one has ever come close to dropping this guy. That's what's very surprising to me right now. Right? I think that Marvin Vittori, yeah, he could get potentially knocked out in his next fight against like a crazy power puncher, but at the same time, the longevity and of Marvin Vittori's chin needs to be studied. Like this guy is like built different. I don't know how he's still in the UFC, right? He is probably going to lose those fights, don't get me wrong. But even against dangerous power punchers, I don't see Marvin Vittori getting chinned, all right? And until it happens, I'm going to put Marvin Vittori as the number one toughest chin in the UFC right now. All right, that's going to be it for today's video. Leave a comment down below how you would rate my list. Again, I have a couple of fighters that I didn't include because recently they have been kind of struggling in terms of durability a lot. For example, I can name like Kevin Holland, who got dropped by Daniel Rodriguez. I can name like Kelvin Gastelum, which I'm be real, if he doesn't miss weight, I don't think he would have been able to survive against Dustin Stoltzfus. But yeah, that's all my opinion, and leave a comment down below if you agree or not. But other than that, if you guys want to see more videos like this, please make sure to like and subscribe so we can get this channel monetized. But other than that, I will probably see you guys later. Peace.